Okay. Father Kalia, for you personally, what have been the most essential contributions of the EAPI to the churches of Asia and the Pacific over the years of its existence? And please elaborate.
Well, the best contribution, I think, of the EAPI is that the EAPI was the first institution that brought the local churches of Asia together for a rather long training. It was the first institution in the church that tried to bring together the different local churches of Asia for a rather long training course and in full internship. Until then, there were classes and courses and conferences given to different people from different local churches. But the EAPI was the first institution in the church in Asia that brought representatives of the local churches for 7-month course in full internship in a place. So they lived together for 7 months.
Oh, 7 months.
Representatives from different local churches of Asia. And that in itself was a unique contribution for the unity and understanding of the church in Asia.
Oh, okay, good. Second question, Father. In the early years of EAPI, how were you and your companions able to work together as a team despite your differences in perspective?
Well, it just happened that we somehow realized that it was a big challenge after the Second Vatican Council to bring representatives of the different local churches of Asia together in one place for a long training course of 7 months. This, we can say that we never thought that it will happen, but we just began, and little by little, first was only 3 months, but then it was extended to 7 months. And this, I believe, was a very unique contribution to the local churches after the Second Vatican Council.
But how did you overcome your differences as a team during the beginning of the EAPI?
How?
How did you manage your differences as a team?
There were not really too many problems in the team of the EAPI, as I remember, because all of us were aware that we were given a unique opportunity to help the local churches of Asia after the Second Vatican Council.
Oh, okay. Number 3, Father.
So the first contribution of the EAPI was to introduce the different local churches of Asia into the new vision of the church according to the conclusions of the Second Vatican Council.
Number 3, Father. How would you like to remember your years of service in EAPI? What words will you use to describe your ministry there at that time?
Well, I think that a very important contribution to offer to the EAPI was the community understanding of the different local churches of Asia. Because that was the first time in the history of the church in Asia that you have representatives from the different local churches together in one place for a long period of time. more than 7 months. So that was something that we believe has contributed so much to the way the local church, the church in Asia have developed. The fact that they were given the opportunity to live together for 7 months.
Okay. And what is your message to the directors, the staff, and participants on the occasion of the 50th year of the naming of EAPI? What is your message to them, to the staff, the directors there?
Well, I think that it was really a very providential thing to have such an idea that was rather original, to bring together, to live together for a period of almost 7 months, representatives from different local churches of Asia. That was unexpected. For the first time in the history of the church in Asia, you have, for a long training, representatives from different local churches in one place. So that was a great contribution of the EAPI, the best contribution of the EAPI.
So what is your message to the staff now, Father, to the directors there?
The local churches of Asia now, they relate very well with one another, partially because of the experience of the EAPI. We have bishops, cardinals, vicar generals who had gone through the experience of the EAPI, and that makes a difference on how to understand the rest of the local churches of Asia. So the contribution of the EAPI is more in that line. The opportunity given to a number of people to live together with people from other Asian countries in one community for 7 months. Before, we have sometimes 3 days meeting or maybe 2 weeks meeting from different people from different local churches of Asia. But never before ever was a dream of keeping them together in full internship for 7 months. So that was a great contribution, I think, for the local churches of Asia. And until now, the people from India, Sri Lanka, China, who have been together for 7 months in EAPI, they relate with one another in a very different way than before. Because they get to know each other at a more intimate level through the experience of the EAPI. So that is one thing.
So what is your message for the directors, Father, for the staff now who are running EAPI on this 50th anniversary? What is your message to them out of that experience that you had in the beginning, and for those people who are...
Now, at this moment, the challenges of the EAPI are different from the challenges when the EAPI began. Because through all these years, for different reasons, partially also because of the EAPI, there is more relationship among the local churches of Asia. So now it's a little bit different from those years when we began.
Do you have any memorable experience, the most memorable experience during your time there?
Well, there are many memorable experiences. I think the most memorable experience is to experience in one place the different mentalities, the different preferences, options, points of view, theologies of the different local churches because of the community life. In the API, from the very beginning, we insisted very much on community building. That the API should, first of all, be a community, a basic Christian community. And that was an obsession in the beginning to try to make people from different local churches of Asia to become one apostolic community. That was the main, so to say, objective of bringing them together in one place.